Let's move on to an interesting trade. CJ McCollum's name was on the trading block for what felt like years. He finally got traded to the Pelicans.
This was a happy divorce. This wasn't a sad divorce.
New Orleans got CJ, Larry Nance Jr., and Tony Snell. At the time, Kevin Pelton gave that a C-. The Blazers got in return Josh Hart, Tomas Satoransky, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, a 2022 protected first-round pick, and 2 second-round picks, Didi Louzada as well. And he gave the Blazers an A. So, Tim, what grades are you giving both teams now for those trades?
Yep.
Damian Lillard needs to get the hell out of there ASAP.
I'm bringing the Blazers down a little bit, and I'm bringing the Pelicans up. I'm gonna put the Pelicans probably at a B-. I thought about a B. I'm gonna say a B-. I was with Kevin at the time. I was not a huge fan of trading for CJ McCollum at this stage of his career in his early 30s.
I broke my back, spinal.
A guy who has some questions about defensively and isn't necessarily on the same timeline as their young stars in Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. But the thing that I underrated about that trade is that CJ McCollum is exactly what this team needed from a leadership standpoint. He has come in, he's been a great mentor to Zion Williamson. I think he's really helped kind of get Zion to a good place, has really helped the Pelicans get into the mix much faster than I expected. And from the Portland side, I understood why they moved on from CJ. I personally think they sort of just put themselves right back in the same place they were again by paying Anthony Simons a whole bunch of money to be probably a lesser version of CJ over time. A guy who, if he was playing on another team, very well may have made a couple of All-Star teams. So I would say they're probably down at a B-. I think the trade was fine for both sides.
I am going to give the Pelicans a B here. You're right, Tim. I didn't love the trade when this first happened, but I certainly did not see the impact that CJ would have on the intangibles.
I haven't had conversations with him directly.
Obviously, he is a respected leader, not just in his own locker room, but around the league with his standing in the NBPA. But really, I think a couple things. He's a guy that can hit big shots.
CJ, man, that dude's bag has a bag, folks.
He's a guy that gets along with everybody. He's a guy that gives that team much needed experience. As good as Brandon Ingram is, as good as Zion is, this is a guy that I've seen hit big shots in the playoffs. He brings that. And look, we don't know for sure, but CJ coming in late last year, getting the Pelicans to beat the Clippers in the play-in, to get into the playoffs, give Phoenix all they can handle. Perhaps that also kind of opened Zion's eyes into seeing what this team potentially could do.
This just shows a complete lack of investment.
And we're starting to see that this season. So I like that for the Pelicans. And for the Blazers, I'm gonna bring them down to a B. That first round pick they got ended up going into the Detroit trade for Jeremy Grant, which has been unbelievable for the Blazers to get Jeremy. I mean, much better than all of us even thought is how Jeremy Grant has fit in perfectly on that Blazers team. He is scoring a ton of points. He has really just gone above and beyond what I thought he could be on that team with Anthony Simons rising. And of course, if Dame can stay healthy, Blazers look like a team that could be kind of dangerous in the West. So I would give them a B for that trade.
Pelicans are definitely a team to fear right now. So I like your grades. We'll see what happens this trade deadline, but so far, I think it's going to be a very interesting February. We'll see where Kevin Pelton stands after those trades.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Because he's going to be putting in that work as he always does. And you too as well. Thank you, Ohm. Thank you, Tim.